Hello everyone, myself Rameshwari Holkar and I'm Center Head at Excel Civils Academy in Hyderabad. In these sessions, we are learning about India's river system. In the previous session, we already have completed the Central Highland River, which is the Narmada, again a very important west flowing river. In today's session, we are going to complete the next important river, that is River Tapi, which originates from the Central Highland. So let's learn about this River Tapi. These sessions will be extremely useful for the student those are appearing for upcoming preliminary examination. At the same time, very informative for the geography optional student, especially for the paper 2. So let's understand about the river Tapi. Now, this river Tapi originates from the Satpura range. The Satpura range lies on the border of this Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra. On this border, there is a Satpura range. On the Satpura range, there is a Betul Plateau. From that Betul Plateau, there is a Multai Reserve Forest. You can see there is a Multai Reserve Forest. From this Multai Reserve Forest, this river Tapi originates and flows into the state of Maharashtra. So, quite a good large number of basin or large area of this river Tapi basin is occupied in the region of the Maharashtra. It entered in the region of the Gujarat and ultimately it drained into the region of the Gulf of Khambat in the Arabian Sea. So this is the flow of the river Tapi from Madhya Pradesh, entering into Maharashtra, flowing to Gujarat and then again finally into the Arabian Sea. So the left bank tributaries are important. Left bank tributaries that we have is a Panjara river, then again there is a Girna, and the third important is a Purna river. So these are the three important tributaries, especially left bank tributary of the river Tapi. There are around 15 tributaries of the Tapi are there, but we don't need to learn all of them. I'm going to teach you the important tributaries. Now, before understanding the flow of the river and how come this river forms the Rift Valley. This river forms the Rift Valley because it flows through two important mountain ranges. In the northern side, we have a Satpura mountain range, and in the southern side, there are three important mountains are there. One is a Satmala, which is there in the Maharashtra's Nasik district. There is a Gavaligar Hills, those are again important part in the Amravati district, and it enters into the Madhya Pradesh, and as well as there is a Mahadev Hills. So these three important mountains are there. One is a Satmala, second is Gavaligar, and third is a Mahadev Hill range from the southern side, and in the northern side Satpura. Between these mighty ranges create this Tapi river forms the valley. And this valley is basically Rift Valley through which this river Tapi flows. So this topography of this river is very important. So when this river flows westward, it does not form delta and rather it forms the estuary. Now, first and foremost important factor, we need to understand why this river forms the estuary, because the terrain through which this river is flowing, that terrain is basically Deccan Plateau. The Deccan Plateau, which is a basaltic igneous rock, very hard and very resistant for the erosion, for the withering, that means for the denudation process. Because the denudation process is very slow, here this river could not able to erode this, this plateau, and it does not form a silt, a lot of silt. At the same time, if you see the course of this river is quite a small course. It does not have a big course like what we have with respect to the Godavari or for that matter Krishna or Ganga Brahmaputra. The course is very small. That's the reason again it does not able to erode this area. At the same time, if you see the slope of the Western Ghat, it is also very steep. The flow of the river is very high, or the velocity is very high, so the gradient is quite steep here. All of these reasons are important for not forming the delta, and it forms the estuary. Basically, estuary, it is, you can see that it's a formation of estuary where the freshwater river, it is confluencing with the salty water from the ocean and from the brackish water. So it is basically partially enclosed coastal of water bodies, where this river is ultimately confluencing with the ocean and forming the estuary more than or instead of delta. Even the bays, marshes, swamp, inlets, all of them are the example of the estuary. You can see the estuary formed by this river Tapi as well. Now, if you talk about the basic information, you can take screenshot of this information, will be very useful for the preliminary examination, right? Again, understand that this river flows to the plains of Vidarbha as well as from the Khandesh region from the state of Maharashtra. Now, I will show you where this region are basically located. So, this color, you can see the Dhule, Jalgaon, Nasik, all of these are part of the Khandesh region of Maharashtra. And this Amravati, Akola, all of this region are part of the Vidarbha region from the Maharashtra. Between this Khandesh and Vidarbha region, this Tapi and its other tributaries flow. If we talk about the tributary, as I told you that river Purna, river Girna as well as river Panjra are important tributaries. So understand that Purna river originates from the Gavilgarh hill range from the Madhya Pradesh. This Girna and Panjra, both this river originate from the Western Ghat. Locally we call it as a Sahyandri. So from the Western Ghat, this Girna and Panjra originate, and this Purna originates from the Gavilgarh range from the Madhya Pradesh, and ultimately it confluences with the river Tapi. You can see the picture of this Girna river to left side of me, and there is a Panjra river. You don't need to go so much of in depth about these tributaries because those are the small tributaries, but we should know the origin of these tributaries. Then let's understand about the important economic activities associated with the river Tapi. There are three important projects, those actually where the Tapi river supplies water. The first is the Hathanur Dam, which is there in the Maharashtra. The upper course of this river Tapi, this dam is located. Then there is the Ukai Dam, which is the lower course located in the region on the state of Gujarat. And there is very important Kakrapar Atomic Power Station. Now this power station is very, very important, and it gets water supply from the river Tapi. Understand that it is India's first indigenous nuclear power plant to supply electricity in the state of Gujarat in its adjacent state. So it is very important power project which is basically indigenously developed. Again, this Kakrapar Atomic Power Plant was in the news recently because it is just recently in the 1st September 2023 it started operating at its full capacity. So this power plant is again very important, which is basically located on the river Tapi. There is another dam is a Ukai Dam. In Gujarat there are very important dams are there. There is Sardar Sarovar Dam as well as Ukai Dam. In the previous session we already have covered the Sardar Sarovar Dam, which is located on the bank of river Narmada. Now this Ukai Dam is located on the bank of this river Tapi, and this basic function is for the controlling the flood as well as irrigation and power generation. You can see in this map, you can see the power projects are there. One is the Ukai Dam, it is the lower course in the Gujarat. You can see there is a Hathanur Dam which is there in the Maharashtra, and all of this get the water supply from this river Tapi. This is the Tapi basin. If you talk about the other economic project in this region or the industries, this region Tapi flows through the region of the Surat. So Surat is very important city from the Gujarat where the textile industry very, very famous. So for this textile factories in the Surat, the water supply get supplied from this river Tapi. Again a very important factory which is the Nepanagar. The Nepanagar, this is paper and news print factory which is located in the Nepanagar. You can see this Nepanagar print factory where the newspaper get printed as well as our normal papers are also getting printed in the Nepanagar in the Gujarat. This factory also get water from this Tapi river. Very, very important industrial area this Tapi basin has. If we talk about the ecology and biodiversity of this region, understand the Melghat Tiger Reserve as well as in general Melghat region which is there in the Amravati district. This Melghat region through which this Tapi river flows, especially if you talk about the river Purna which has a basin on the river in this Melghat region. Again there is important national park which is known as a Gugamal National Park. This is a Melghat region and Tapi river is flowing from this Melghat. There is a Gugamal National Park and Narmada Wildlife Sanctuary. Both of them are located in the region of Amravati, in the region of this Vidarbha. Here you can see this Gugamal National Park from where this river Tapi is flowing, and then Narmada Wildlife Sanctuary, again it is located in the southern part of the Satpura, gets water supply from the Tapi. So that's it about the economic development, ecological development of this region or biodiversity of this region. Tapti river's origin, its flow, formation of the Ishuri as well as left bank tributaries like that is the Panjra, Purna as well as Girna. All of this information is more than sufficient if you are preparing for upcoming civil services examinations, especially for prelims, as well as it will be very important for the geography optional. Also, if you are preparing for the state PCS examination, all of these videos will be very informative and you don't need to put any further efforts. So, thank you so much. In the next session, we are going to go through the multiple choice questions based on the river Tapi. Stay tuned.